Welcome back to our Global IT Solution GITS-Playwright channel on lecture or video tutorial 12. Before we started this lecture, I highly encourage you to complete previous lecture related with this course. Let's get started and jump on the topics. So today we'll be discussing about, we already learned about page object model, data-driven concept, and today we'll be see expanded version of keyword-driven concept and organizing the test. As I told you on the last lecture, so I'm not pleased with this code because as the code are repeated over here, explains some of the keyword are repeated over here. So we'll be creating a utils folder underneath the project, utils, and underneath the utils folders, we'll create a utils.js file, utils.js. So inside the utils, we can call as a rename it as a utilities. Utilities. So utilities folder, inside the utilities folder we create a utils file, a util.js. So we'll create a class over here. So as I told you earlier, like on the page object model concept, we can create many different way as a class and the constant. So we'll be exporting the class from the beginning, utils equal class utils. So export.utils. So it's not export, it's going to be exports. So we'll be exporting this class and we'll be creating a constructor of the page. So this is the page constructor we are creating for this class. So I'm defining this page as a globally, page equal page. So we're defining the page class as a globally in a constructor. Now, as you know, we're working with the async functions. Async we'll be creating as a go to one of the functions. Using the go to, we'll be using passing the parameters, and inside that we'll be using await, and this dot page dot go to, and we'll be passing that URL. So this is for the one of the functions we are creating for the URL. As you see, the URL we're using over here is in the page.goto, but we're not going to be using await page.goto. Just call that functions in here. And another functions we have to create as we are verifying that functions. You see him over here, the expect, right? So we can do the assertion functions, utils async, and we can do, so this is a to-heb, right? This is a to-heb text. So we can do that verify to-heb text, verify to-heb, verify to-heb text function. And we can create a functions, and we can create body of it. So this is the code block. Inside the code block we'll be copying and pasting the entire code. Let's do that. And inside it, whatever the uncommon will be remove it from here. So this is a locator, right? So we'll be using the locator, not the locator. Let's use the identifier, and pass it as a parameter here. Identifier also to have text, and this is our expected text. Let's use the expected text here. So that's it. You just create a functions and global functions, and you can reuse it all the times. Now let's use the goto. In order to using the goto, then same thing, you have to inherit that file, import. This is our class file, please remember. So we have to use the curly brace in order to import that. How do you use it? So we'll be using utils and from. So this is not going to be a from because this is a class file. We'll be using required, and directly we can use as a parenthesis utilities, then use utils file. So this is not going to be a that should be fine. Utils, why it's giving me that error? From. Well, we can use the from too. Utils from. If I use the from, we don't have to use the required. But if you are using, oh, so this is not going to be importing. This is basically not using the from. We'll be using a constant of it, right? So if we're using a constant as a utils and required, and we're using the path of it, then we can create an instance of the utils file because that is a constant. How do we create a constant? So let's say constant util equal new utils, and inside we'll be calling that base as a constructor. So it should be fine. Yes, so we can see it came from here directly as a constructor, and we can call that utils here. So for the number one util, so it's going to be always avoid starting with that because this is async util dot go to, right? So we can use the util.goto. So over here we're not going to be using the goto, but we are using a verification, which is a util.verify to have text. Now to have text has a two parameters. Remember, inside there is a two parameter. One is the identifier, one is the expected text. So identifier will be remaining same. We just copy it, identified here, and expected text will be here. How simple it is, right? Now this is the number one we did. Let's do for number two, number 3, number 4. Okay. 3, 4, 5. So inside just we have to change our locator. So this is the number 1. This is going to be number 2. 2. And number 3. Number 3, and this is number 3 data, basic up. Number 4, this is our number 4, broken image and broken image data, and the last one, which is a challenging DOM locator. So this is our challenging DOM locator and challenging DOM data. Let's use this. Let's see it is working. Now you see how simple and looks simple, right? Keep it simple, which is a KISS principle, and do not repeat yourself. Drive principle. So we're reusing the verify to have text from the utils file. Let's see it is running or not. We made a lot of changes. Nobody knows it is working or not. The second one, it's not working. Boom. Await. Expect to soft async. So now it's complaining about the await. So what we did? We did await already. We called it, right? Now, if you see the async, this is also as an async. So it's complaining about over here await, line number 11, which is the functions we created. And inside the functions, which is we created, let's go to the functions, exports.utils, class utils, and we are using constructor for the space, and we are creating our async. Async go to, this is a keyword and this is a keyword, verify to have text. Okay, so async verified to have text, which is an identifier, our arguments, and the expected text, which is also another argument, two argument, await, expect, soft, and we are using the page locator over here. Okay? Page locator identifier to have text. That should be good, should be fine. Now if I go back to our test, in POM authentications, we're calling as a constant utils, and we're calling that utils file, this one. Okay, then this utils, we are as a constant, we're calling over here, creating an instance of it, right? So this instance, it goes here directly because this is a constructor. This utils, we are calling and creating instance, and we are declaring as a util is our reference variable called new and paste. It should be fine, but it's not giving me a highlighted versions. It should be highlighted. So this is inside the test as well as this is in a sync page. So we'll be troubleshooting in a minute. Let's see why it is not working. Constant. This is also is our constant. We are creating a reference variable util equal new utils page, and we are calling the util here, right? This is util verify have text landing page card. This should be fine. Let's see what it says. Complaining about this one. About, let's run it again. Let's see. It's failing. And now let's go to our utils file here. Let's see this page equal page, and this is our utils file. So this is the functions we're creating, async functions, and about it's complaining about this. No, it should not be working because this is async. Make sure, like once you're using the async, you have to have the await. Yeah. So let's troubleshoot in a next lecture. Thanks so much for watching this lecture. Stay tuned for upcoming lecture for the rest of the course.